Joining us this morning, Titania Jordan.
Tatiana Jordan. Did I get the name right? Jordan?
Titania.
Titania. Okay. All right.
It's Titania Jordan.
All right, Chris, tell everybody watching who doesn't know and should know, you guys should know, what do you do?
So Creative Mischief, we're a full-service branding and marketing agency based here in Atlanta. We do a lot of nonprofit work, a lot of B2C clients as well. So we've rebranded Red Brick Brewing Company.
Nice.
In the past. We have a lot of financial service companies as well. But what separates us apart is we really break down what are the business goals and objectives of any organization, any company we work with. Our process goes the same across in the industry. Because if we're going to do a marketing strategy, a content strategy, if we don't tie back into the business goals and objectives, then we're not a true partner with our clients. We're just another shop out there throwing something up, hoping it sticks. So
makes sense.
Yeah.
Where did the name Creative Mischief come from? I love it, by the way.
I give all that credit to my business partner. He's been in the industry since the early 90s, and he had the name Creative Mischief. He had a dog named Mischief who was very mischief.
Well, as dogs are.
And so when we were looking at coming together, because we were just neighbors, it was a DBA that he had. I'm like, that's the name, you know, because we really wanted to start out growing our business off trust. And we figured, you know, have a name, Creative Mischief, makes people ask questions. So.
I love it. So when did you guys start Creative Mischief?
So officially it was August 1, 2008.
Okay.
Isham had been in the industry, like I said, in the early 90s, had been using little side gigs here and there, but we were neighbors, and as most neighbors do, we have a few cocktails, we drink every now and then. We thought about, hey, why don't we do this? And over a course of a few months, we did a couple small projects, won an award for some stuff we did for Amanda Johnson's Burger Kings. And we said, all right, look, if we're going to do it, let's do it. And why not do it in the middle of 2008? So August 1, 2008 was day one. And by January 2009, we were in an office doing work.
Wow. Wow. So that's sentimental to me because my son was born in January 2009. So like I get it. I get birthing new big things.
Yeah, it was birthing of new big things. It was a great year. You know, it's funny stories. Is our first office was, of course, our basements. But then we had a client that owed us money, so we just squatted in his office. As we grew, because we were starting to grow, we had hired our first designer, who actually was our bartender, and we needed space.
Yeah.
And so we worked out of that space and really started to grow as a company before we got some warehouse space.
I love it. What did you do before August 2008?
So I spent from 2000 and starting in 2000s at law firms.
Okay.
So you mentioned I have 3 kids. My oldest son, Noah, I realized very quickly that I was actually at University of West Georgia, but I needed to be more than just at that school. I needed to provide for him, not just hanging out and doing things, but I needed to provide. So I actually got a job delivering mail at law firms and then went to school online at night.
Wow.
And through that time had great mentors at that firm that if I saw something, if I saw a need for something, you know, to go for it. So I saw a need for video production that we were outsourcing.
Wow.
So I went and they said to write a proposal. And I was like, it's 2000, what do you mean write a proposal? I've never written a proposal in my life. So I said, okay, I'll write a proposal. Did the research, got buy-in, created the first video production department early 2001. Learned how to do it. That led to doing litigation support, IT, user experience, and then helping with marketing. And so just kind of grew through there, but was in an environment that they fostered that growth and allowed me to do it. And then Isham and I met in, I think, 2007 as neighbors.
So learn by doing.
Yeah, it's always been that learn by doing, not their traditional career path, that if you saw something, kind of follow where the passion leads.
Absolutely. And it's so wonderful to have those mentors and those people in your life that will pour into you and look for your unique abilities and empower you to go down paths that you might have no idea how to go down.
Yeah, no idea. And you know, when we decided to go out with Creative Mischief, you know, the first person I asked was my wife. I'm like, what do you think? She's like, I got faith in you, I believe you. And that was like, that's all I need, let's go. Now it's been probably the hardest thing I've ever done, but it's the most rewarding thing I've ever done, so no regrets.
I love that. I just got a little verklempt. It's so sweet. What would you say is some of the best advice that you've received from those mentors that helps you chugging along and forging new paths?
Follow your gut has been one of the best, because I really think your gut's your honesty. To do that, to do the right thing. One of the things that one of the bosses I had at the law firm is called Powell Goldstein, was if you do 10 more steps to make the end user's life more enjoyable and the experience better, then do it.
Yeah.
And that's something that we've brought over into our business, that you know, it's not just the experience of the end user, whether it's in store or on a website, but it's behind the scenes. How's it administered? How's it admin? To take that same thing, to take that extra step, because it's about the long-term relationship versus it being just a quick client. You know, that's a harder business model to get client after client after client versus let's start a relationship based on trust and integrity, and we can grow together and expand.
Absolutely. So as somebody who's in the space of creation and innovation, branding, but you know, you have all that fun stuff, but at the end of the day, it comes down to business goals, right? So what have been some of the biggest challenges that clients have come to you with, and how have you and Creative Mischief helped them reach those goals?
I think the biggest challenge is there's a lot of noise out there.
Right?
So we have so much content,
Yeah.
but not all the content's relevant. It's not the best type of content. You know, it's the old saying, keep up with the Joneses. Well, just because they're doing it doesn't mean it's right for your business, whether it's your culture, your process, your budget. So
a financial services firm doesn't necessarily need to be on Snapchat.
No, they don't need to be on Snapchat. And it's like not every, unless you have a specific strategy for each social media piece, then don't do it.
Right.
Especially if you can't execute it at 100%.
Yeah.
So one of the things we do with all of our clients is we actually walk through a discovery phase with them, which is really a strategy engagement, but it's a discovery workshop to make sure there's a shared mission, vision, and values within the organization. And do they have, you know, their 5-10-year goals out in place? You know, what are their objectives, but also what do they want from their customers, and what do their customers want for them? A lot of times folks don't ask those questions. And so we walk them through that, and it allows us to uncover pieces that, hey, look, you know, your processes here aren't working, or you have these great opportunities, but you don't have the staff or the money to do it, so let's focus on the other things. A good example of that is a new, we've worked with them for about 9 months, or a B2C client, online sales, big industrial machines. You're like, hey, we need help, we need more exposure. Well, everybody needs exposure, but what do you need? Well, they're like, we need awareness. Okay, well, as we started looking at it, going through the discovery, we realized it wasn't awareness, they just weren't relevant. So people knew about them, but they weren't relevant. The brand wasn't relevant to what the needs were of who they were communicating with.
That's huge.
So we went through the process and identified of how we can not only make them more relevant based on who they're targeting, but also we realized, hey, there's issues with your sales cycle, that you're missing opportunities here. So adjusting the sales cycle a little bit, so you can say, these sales are easier to get, and then you can leave more room for the bigger sales over here, to walk them through that process. And I think we saw like a 20% increase, you know, on qualified leads coming in to getting to that sales piece. And to me, it's like the aha. When they get it, that what we're really trying to do is help them in their business. And we're not just going to say, all right, let's do email or let's do this. It's more than that.
Relevance is a key theme of one of the core values that your firm embodies, and it actually should be more relevant to a lot of key people. So talk about relevance and why it's so important, and just expand on it in general.
So most organizations, companies focus on awareness first. Like we can grow sales, we can grow our business, we just need people to be aware of us, but they need to be relevant to them. A good example is, we'll take the Hawks over the last couple of decades. When we had our stars, Spud, Mookie, Dominique, we didn't win a lot, but man, we had passion and people attended. Track back 3 or 4 years ago, we were winning a lot, going to the playoffs, nobody was there, right? Because the brand was no longer relevant to the community. They were focusing on demographics that weren't the demographics coming to the games, right? We hear everybody talk about we need to focus on millennials, which I try to stay away from that term a lot, because really it's a mindset, it's how people think. And that was the generation coming to the games, but they weren't marketing to the games. So their brand wasn't relevant to who they were marketing to. So they went through a deep dive strategy of understanding who's coming to the games, what are the markets coming, and be relevant to them first. Because, as most people know, if we got a young crowd that's going to go to something, generally the older crowd wants to follow the young crowd.
Absolutely.
So become relevant to the brand. It's like the work that we do with United Way. We created cause campaigns, which are, there's a start date and an end date based on the objective. So summer's coming up. Most of the kids in the city of Atlanta are on free and reduced meal plans, which means you get to the summer, there's no food. They don't have any
heartbreaking.
food. So we created a thing called Silence the Growl, which has a start date and end date. And its whole purpose is to raise funds so those kids can eat. And they can give the meals or give the funds to a place like Families First, those kids. So you make it relevant to the audience that we determine cares about that passion. It has to be relevant. If it's not relevant, they're not going to do anything with it. And that works across any business model, whether it's a law firm or not. It's the same strategy. The content has to be relevant to the end user.
I'm soaking in all of that, and thinking about the fact that it's my son's last day of school, and thinking about the children in the district that are now like, gosh, I don't know if I'm going to get breakfast. And
it's out of sight, out of mind stuff.
Yeah.
The average age of a homeless person in Metro Atlanta is 9. So things like that. From a business standpoint, I'm so proud of everything we've done, the awards that we've won over the years, the awards we've won. We won some last week, but I'm more proud when we actually make a change in the community first.
Yeah.
We run strategy for United Way's under 40 group, young professional leaders, and their under 30 group. The under 30 group, there's no donation ask whatsoever. It's all about volunteers, see what they're doing, become an advocate.
Right.
Running that strategy of relevance first, we still raised $400,000 through them, had almost 900 hours of community service.
That's awesome.
The YPL group, be relevant first. We created what's called the Give 5 Change Live campaign for childhood homelessness. It was take 5 minutes, learn about the issue, donate $5, tell 5 friends. Simple, to the point, and relevant. We just had our gala, raised $150,000 to open up a new shelter in Clayton County to help move these kids out of homelessness or who are at risk of being homeless.
Right.
Because we made it specifically relevant to the demographic and who we're talking to. But those successes far outweigh anything in business.
That's amazing. For people watching out there right now, where can they go to help contribute and support those at-risk youth?
So you can go to United Way, Greater Atlanta's website here. The groups that are really focusing on them are their LINK group or their YPL group, the Young Professional Group. Go to either one of those and look at them.
Talk about the awards you won. Like, now is your platform, like,
yes,
Brad,
so,
what'd you win?
We've won some Amy's this year for our work that we did on those campaigns with United Way.
Yep.
We actually won 2 Communicator Awards just last week, so there were 6,000 entries.
Wow.
And we won for our Give 5 Change Live campaign and for our Young Professional Leaders strategy work that we did. And then we got another one that, it's a long shot, but I got my fingers crossed for work that we did on the child sex trafficking work last year.
Wow.
So
talk about that. What was that campaign and who reached out to you?
So through United Way, found out of the issue in the state in November 2015. And as parents, when I hear that, like I was I was pissed off.
Yeah.
I was sad.
Yeah.
I got kids, so I'm emotional.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I cried.
Yeah.
So I said, I'm going to do something. And so we did 100% pro bono, all the marketing for the campaign, for the whole thing from 2015 to 2016. The amendment passed with 83% of the vote, which is the largest passage ever of any constitutional amendment in the state, including the Georgia lottery.
Wow.
So now, like, the positive thing is these kids have hope. There's a chance
Yes.
that we can fund recovery and fund counseling and things like that. So, fingers crossed on that one, because that'd be good to bring more awareness to it. We just got some recognition from stuff from the Boy Scouts. We launched a new Boy Scouts site for our World Jamboree. So,
Nice.
some good stuff.
That's awesome. Yeah. I was really fond of the End It movement, the
Yes.
red X on the, and that's a cause that's near and dear to my heart. It's really scary how big of a hub our city is.
Yeah, it's 63% of the state has reported cases. So you don't think about it, you think it's just Metro, but it's a big one. And then the Rotary International has their big candlelight visual coming up next month.
Wow.
So, to support it.
Wow. So you are doing a lot of fulfilling work, not only moving KPIs for businesses through
Right.
your branding and strategy work, but really impacting the community and improving people's lives. That's amazing, and just thank you on behalf of everybody
Well, thank you.
for what you're doing. That's awesome. For those of us who want to know what we can do, to give back to you and to help you, and for everybody out there watching, like, how can we support you and your firm and your efforts? What's on the horizon? How can we help?
We're in a growth strategy right now, of course. We've hired probably 4 new folks over the past, couple months.
Nice.
Growing out of our space. All we ask is clients, or future clients, let's have a conversation. Let's see if it's a good fit. Don't always follow the hype. Let's take a step back and go, we want to be good stewards of your hard-earned money and your budgets and your relationships, and do something that's right. So if it's anything marketing related, give us a call, whether it's from websites creation to marketing plans, strategy engagements, media buying, let us know.
Say those again. Marketing strategy.
Marketing strategies, our discovery workshops, from content strategy to website creation, social media management, and to media buying, which includes digital or traditional.
Yeah, I think people know that there's a huge opportunity, whether it's Facebook ads, Instagram ads, native platforms, but they don't know how to maximize that.
Yeah, they all got to, all those, you have to start with discovery first.
Right.
You have your strategy, then you got to have a content strategy, and all those tie into the content strategy, and then you say, all right, here's what we're going to do on each platform. Here's how they integrate together, because you had to be telling the story together. You don't just do the same thing everywhere. Every piece needs to fall in together, and make sure it's right for your business. Not every business is going to do a Facebook or that, but if it fits into that strategy, and you execute it as best you can.
What were those hires that you made over the past year?
So we've hired more developers, more social, more content writers, more project managers.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah.
when you're doing great work and business is coming in, that sounds like all the key people you need.
Great talent here in Georgia. So I think there's a great culture of people too.
Oh yeah, talk about the culture at Creative Mischief. What's it like if I start working with you?
I always say we're more than an agency. It's a family. It's a team. I tell every employee. So by the time I talk to somebody in an interview, they've already gone through the team and Isham, my business partner, and me. It's like, let's go have a walk. Let's talk. I want to get to know you as a person. What are your passions? What do you want to do? Because we want to foster creativity. We want to foster growth in our team. You may start out as a designer, but you're going to move into user experience. You're going to talk to our developers, designers, developers all sit next to each other because they need to be an integrated team. But I tell every one of them that it's employees first, client second, community third. Because if my staff knows that I truly do care about them, their well-being, that they're happy, they're going to give that same passion to every one of our clients. There's no micromanagement. Give them the ability to make decisions and to create that relationship with the client that allows me to give back and allows Isham to give back to the community as much as possible. And so that's kind of the approach that we've taken, that it really is a family. Our first employee, you know, he's not with us. He's it's a great story behind it, but he's out in California now, but still talk to him. He's still part of the Creative Mischief family. So.
Well, that speaks to the environment within Creative Mischief, that you can have those connections that go beyond.
Yeah, we spend more time with them than we do our own family.
Right.
So whether it's a good thing or a bad thing, we let them design the office. So we've got some walls painted. We're still debating on others. What happens if you get a bunch of creatives?
Yeah.
But you know, they spend more time there. So let them pick out their chairs. Let them pick out the desks they want, things like that, because it's their home.
Yeah, you want them to be happy and productive.
Yeah, they spend more time there. If they're not comfortable, they're not going to produce good work, you know. Or if they're like, hey, look, I put in a lot of hours, can I work at home? Yeah. Our longest tenured employee, she's never worked out of the office. She lives in Michigan.
Wow.
I've actually never met her face to face.
That's amazing.
She's my work wife. Talk to her all the time. But I mean, that's it. You create a culture of it is a family whether you're there or not.
It's so cool to be alive in 2017.
It is. It is.
So what are you most excited about in the coming year?
What am I most excited about in the coming year? I'm excited about some of the potential growth that we have. I'm really excited about that, just the opportunities that are out there that we've been working on. So that excites me. I'm excited, honestly, what lies ahead for my kids. You know, as you know, I'm no longer paying daycare bills, thank goodness. So 8 years total with the 2 kids. So, so glad that's done. Mommy and Daddy got a raise. But I'm excited for what grows with them. I'm excited just in general of what lies ahead for our state too. I think there's a lot of great things that are happening in our state, a lot of great businesses that are here. I think there's just a lot of excitement around everything here, but I'm really excited to see what that next chapter looks like for us as we continue to grow. Yeah,
the city of Atlanta it's just alive. It is.
It's alive, and I think when you really start to look back at the history of it, you know, we've always been a very, very diverse, rich culture. You know, we were literally the D-Mark stop. It's where the train stopped. You got off, you didn't go anywhere else, and that's why it's such a rich culture. But even too, you go an hour south or an hour north, you're in a whole nother place.
Whole nother world.
The quality of life is great compared to other areas. I think that's what makes it so attractive. So there's going to be a lot of change, but I think it's going to be good.
I love it. Finally, as a creative and innovator, you know, I always like to see what inspires fellow creatives and innovators. So, where do you get your inspiration from?
Man, where do I get it from? I think I get it from people's, I think, reaction to see them get joy, or to see that aha moment. Or when they're happy. Like, I get inspiration from that, but I pull a lot of inspiration from my kids. You know, just because it's that innocence. There's no care in the world. You know, the only thing they care about is, can I stay up 5 minutes later? Will you read me another book?
Can I have sugar?
Yes, can I have sugar? Well, if grandparents come, I have way too much sugar. But I'm just inspired by people, other people a lot, especially when I talk to, you know, high school students, just to see that there's so much passion out there that they're not going to wait for change. They really want to push change, and I think that's amazing, because if they're voicing their opinions, it means they're caring, and that's the most important thing. We can all disagree, but if it's their opinion, they have an opinion based on the way they brought up their environment. So I'll validate those opinions, but then let's have a conversation. That stuff inspires me, incites me, that we can actually have those type of conversations.
Chris Sizemore, Creative Mischief, thank you so much for being here and for your time.
Thank you, absolutely.
Let's fist bump.
Boom.